So we are, what do you say?
Someone phone.
Not even flying. Okay, so we are Kufay. This week's quota is Vav, Zion, and Chetz. As I mentioned,
Right?
no, Tess.
No, it goes with the topic.
Tess will go with forward, but Vav really belongs to the previous section.
Okay.
Tess, you would, Aleph Bess is a different, so yeah.
Okay.
Vav belongs to the previous one, and Zion, Ches, I guess, go together. Ches. Okay, so Vav is going to take us a minute. Just have to read. We'll read and translate. It's going to go back to the previous section and just clarify one component, and then Zion is going to be the main meat of our subject. Ches is also going to be a short din. It's not really super relevant to any of us on a regular basis, but we're going to learn it. So when it comes to Zion, we'll spend more of our time going through some practical applications. So let's begin with Vav. We'll read and translate as is our custom at the Chazzarah u'LeMaaseh shir. Ches, davar sheyesh le hapua, I think that's how you pronounce it. Something that has liquid, it has juice in it that can bubble. It's sully, and it's a grilling situation. So in the previous sif, we learned that when three things are grilled one next to each other, right, and they're touching. So if then you have to remove at the point of contact, right? You have to take kedei netila, the amount of significant removal, which was, what was it, 2 centimeters. You have to remove at the point of contact, unless it's fatty, in which case the whole thing gets transferred, right? In this case, however, so now the case over here is, and now if one is hot and the other is cold. So in the previous case, they were both hot because they're both grilling, but they're both heated from grill. They're touching without liquid between them. Here, one is hot, one is cold. Then you apply the rule of the lower overpowers. The lower overpowers. Therefore, if a hot piece of steak falls onto cold, non-kosher meat, you only have to remove significant removal because the bottom overpowers and only allows, sorry, not significant removal, it's even less. You only have to peel off, right? Because when it comes to the bottom being cold, top being hot, you only take off a peel. But if cold fell on hot, then the bottom overpowers, the bottom cooks up the top one. Unless you have 60 to the ratio of the kosher vis-a-vis the non-kosher, then everything becomes forbidden. So the same rules that apply to boiled liquid together apply here to solids. Now, in this case, do we apply the Ramah's position that we don't know the difference between solid and liquid? You'll still have to do netila by the point of contact, for sure. You always have to do. No, sorry. Say it again.
This case where we said
the klipa.
Yeah. Well, no, we're saying in the last case, it had the shishim. So, but let's say it has shishim.
If it has shishim, then you do have to take netila. That's for sure. So if it has shishim, we still have to take off a significant removal, 2 centimeters at the point of contact. Yes, as is in the previous case. But my question to you is, do we apply the Ramah's position that we don't know the difference between solid, liquid, and fatty and not fatty? Remember that? Noons, what do we say here? When was the original din of we don't know the difference between solid and fatty? We don't know the difference between fatty and lean. When was the original din?
Pickling.
That's when we say we don't know the difference? That's when we say we do know the difference. I pickle. When do we say we don't know the difference? We had, by bishul doesn't matter because you have liquid going through the whole thing. Right? Actually, there it mattered only if it's going to travel upward. In which case we say then we say we do know the difference between liquid and fatty, solid and fatty. Okay. When's the only case we don't know? Sorry. Roasting. 2 things roasting next to each other when they're both hot. One lean, one fat. Well, one kosher, one non-kosher touching each other.
Yeah.
Then we say we don't know the difference between lean and fatty. We make the whole thing transfer back and forth. Now, when one is cold, do we just say the same thing? That's the case over here. One's cold, one's hot. That's the case of Zivov, right?
But my only thought is they're not mentioning fatty at all in this, so maybe fatty's not a factor.
But right at the beginning, it says Davar Sheish Lepapua, right?
Ah, there you go.
And which has liquid going through it, right?
Yeah.
So do we say over here too that when two things touching, one is hot, one is cold? What's the answer? Anybody know?
What do you mean, the bottom, what do you mean? Bottom always takes precedence.
Because it is.
Right, but in
So,
over
if
here,
it's
he's
hot or cold doesn't matter, what do you mean?
no, but the whole thing only applies if it's fatty,
Right. So
right?
if it's lean, you're saying.
What if it's lean?
Well, we made today, it's all fatty. quote
Today,
unquote.
Clipper.
I'm
No,
asking-
anyway.
So do we say
Is it
that
all
their
fatty?
Ramah's standard that we treat everything as fatty
Yeah,
was originally stated with respect to the case where two things are hot next to each other,
Yes.
right?
yeah,
Now in this case, one is hot, one is cold.
still gonna
Do
apply.
we still apply the same standard?
Because I thought this is the whole concept forever, is that we're gonna treat all meat.
Not always, because we didn't treat it when it came to things popping out. Things popping out of the liquid, we didn't say that. Sorry, when things popping out of the liquid, right? We didn't say that. Things popping out of the pickling, we didn't say that. We don't always say it.
Oh, you're saying there didn't make
Things
sense.
popping out of the liquid, we do say it, right? That we didn't say
Yeah.
to travel up. But with things popping out of the
I always thought I've always thought for
things
everything.
popping out of the pickling, we didn't say it, right? Right? Did we say
Buster
something here?
recall if we said-
I assumed everything was always
Mhm.
fatty. Like I thought we
Always, always.
we can never make the distinction. So it's good to know the halachas between the two, but in terms of
I don't remember. One second, I read this well, second. Hmm?
Pouring, maybe?
What do you say?
Pouring?
No, not pouring.
They didn't.
Not good.
Hold on. Where did I see it? I saw it and I had the answer. Now I don't remember. Now I don't remember myself. I saw it today when I was preparing. Now I don't remember where I saw it.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So nobody remembers that, neither do I. Look at that. Okay, so I have to put a pen in that to get back to
Okay.
because I did read it and I don't remember where. Over here. Oh.
You found it?
Yeah, hold on a second. But that's my no, that's my dried out things.
Okay. But I'm just curious, like go for the future for always, when you like
Yeah.
when you make a ruling, when you help people with advice, do you consider all meat as fatty? Or you have to ask if it's
That
fatty?
case
or
rarely comes up. That case
If
really
you
comes
don't
up.
have a kosher.
Give me a situation where that happens. It's very rare that such a thing happens.
Oh, maybe you mean, you know,
Yes.
bila, like, you know, the
Wait, I'm sorry.
when it's absorbed already.
Fish and meat.
When
Yeah.
it's-
Imagine
when-
you have some
no.
fish touching your meat or something, because you're not gonna have trade really. So like you have like fish touching your meat, you didn't realize.
They're both very hot.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I've never had such a thing, but
But
we
kind of like I'm
do
curious.
treat, yeah, we do.
I just assume we're treating all meat always as
When it's
fatty.
absorbed,
Almost
like a food that is
it's
absorbed,
absorbed, yeah.
food, the usher
Sorry?
food that's not by itself.
Shiloh to meat baragid now. In the butcher shop, maybe, but people in my house not calling baragid an asha. I think a shiloh at the schlachter, maybe. I'm not getting such the schlachter shiloh don't come to me. Yeah, that doesn't come to me.
So, like, if
You get
it's
the shallot
absorbed
people don't have
food,
Maybe
their
I saw
house.
it.
like if it's absorbed, if
I
it's
don't remember
not
where I saw it.
in
Can't remember.
itself,
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
if it's not in itself usher, but it absorbed usher,
Then we do say the difference between fat and lean.
is that
Right? That's another case. It's correct.
another case?
Yaman's correct. Yaman's correct. In a case
Yeah.
where
It's
it
absorbed.
itself isn't forbidden, but it is absorbed forbidden, which is what we're about to discuss now in Zion in 7, then we do make a difference between fatty and lean. And if it's lean, we say it doesn't transfer.
Oh, did we not do that part yet?
It's about to come right now. Okay, so let's learn it then.
No, but I was gonna say is that we can't make the distinction between fatty and lean.
Hmm?
We can't make the distinction between fatty and lean.
But that fact, we don't make the distinction between fatty and lean is only implied in that extreme problematic case where where things are being grilled next to each other.
Oh
But
yeah.
not in all cases.
Not in all cases.
Not in all cases. We're going to give an example in a second. And I'm trying to remember if I remember reading about this case that if I remember correctly, it doesn't apply, but I can't remember where it says that, so I don't want to say it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Hold on a second.
I mean, I think it's right. No. I think it's right.
They're on the previous sip, but that's talking about where both are hot. And hey, both are hot. And that's when he says we don't know the difference between fatty and liquid and fatty and lean. But in 6, he does not repeat that line.
I thought that was forever. I thought that was like for all meats for always.
No.
That we can't know the difference.
No, we already had limitations right before. Can't remember where I saw it. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember and get it back to you. All right, let's go to Zion. So in Zion, now we get to this new din, the main din that we spoke about in our introduction, which is Ein habalua yotze mechaticha lechaticha ella aydei roita, which means absorbent flavor does not transfer from one piece to another without liquid in between the two. This is the Rashba's position that if the two pieces that are gluing next to each other, they're both originally kosher pieces of meat. One absorbed non-kosher. Not that it itself isn't kosher, but it absorbed non-kosher. Then it only has the ability to transfer to the next piece of meat only when there's liquid. Which means they're touching each other, we're much more lenient. That's what we're about to learn now. Yeah?
If there's no liquid.
There's no liquid because you're grilling, it's not a pot.
This is not the case where the meat became fresh because of meat.
Okay, we'll get to the milk and meat in a minute, because we have the chatichanas and the vela issue. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's start with not that. So let's begin then, right? So hada chatichas isur, baiseres chaverta benegiyasa. This fact that a piece of non-kosher meat will forbid its friend, its other piece of meat, benegiyasa, just by touching it. So it's not in a pot, iron, but by being actually touching. This is only true if the piece of meat is forbidden in and of itself. Going nevela, like for example, a non-kosher piece of kosher piece of meat that wasn't slaughtered correctly. That's called a nevela. Other cases include a treifa, which is an animal that turns out to have some health ailment that would cause it to be non-kosher, pierced lung, or something of that type. So those are the cases in which we would say that it isn't forbidden of it, that it's forbidden of itself, and then it passes the flavor to the other one just by dint of the fact that it's touching. Right?
We also said meat.
Sorry?
We said meat with, like, let's say some milk on it that becomes straight, touches the other meat.
Say again? Okay, we'll get to the milk and meat in a second. Now, Shulchan Aruch continues, or milk and meat together.
Right.
So the Shulchan Aruch is taking the position that once milk and meat mix together, we apply the principle of chanan.
Oh.
Chanan stands for chaticha nasa nevela. The piece itself now becomes a non-kosher piece of meat in and of itself. So it's not just the milk that's within the meat is a problem, but the very meat itself is now a non-kosher piece of meat, considering that it absorbed milk. So it's considered aser machmas atzma. It's considered forbidden in and of itself, even though it's only forbidden by having absorbed milk. Right? But now that this thing is a mixture of milk and meat, it itself is considered a source of prohibition. And therefore, it's not as if, the Shulchan Aruch's position is, it's not as if we need the milk to exit this piece of meat to get to the next piece of meat to make it not kosher. That would be like the same thing as the first case. So let's visualize it like almost like visually, yeah? You have two pieces of meat. Non-kosher fat goes into piece A. It doesn't transfer to piece B unless there's liquid. Yeah. Now, same scenario, you pour a piece of milk, you pour milk onto that kosher piece of meat. Does the milk travel from piece A to piece B? Well, if the non-kosher oil didn't travel from A to B, why would the milk travel from A to B?
It's different.
It doesn't.
It doesn't transfer to A to B, but the trait thing's not.
But
kosher.
according to the Shulchan Aruch, the meat itself is not kosher. Now, the flavor of meat A will transfer to the flavor of meat B by touching. And the flavor of meat A is itself already non-kosher by dint of the fact that it's a mixture of milk and meat.
Right.
Whereas when it comes to the non-kosher oil, the oil has to transfer from meat A to meat B.
Right.
And therefore it does not unless it's liquid.
We can solve this with like
That's what we're learning now. But if if it's a question, what if it's milk, that even though the milk itself doesn't absorb into the next piece of meat, but we treat the piece of meat itself as if it were non-kosher,
Right.
and therefore its flavor transferring from A to B is enough to render meat be a problem. Shulchan Aruch's position, which again is going to be machlokes about that.
So basically, if a piece of meat, milk falls on one half of the meat, but not the other half. The whole and the other half is touching another piece of meat. That doesn't matter because the whole piece is considered true.
In the Shulchan Aruch's position, if the original piece of meat didn't have 60 times the ratio of the milk.
Right.
But yes, that would be the Shulchan Aruch's position.
As long as it's fatty, right?
Yes, let's get that in a second.
So we're
I'll
we
get
were
that
talking
in
about before.
Okay, let's get that in a second. Aval, but in aim. So let's just translate the words of the Shulchan Aruch. The fact when one piece of meat will transfer flavor, when one piece of meat will forbid another piece of meat, it's only if piece of meat number A is itself forbidden. Aval in aim ba iser, but if the piece number A does not have itself prohibited, it's not a prohibited meat. u'LeMaaseh bala b'makom acher. It's only forbidden by the fact that it absorbed something else, fat, a non-kosher oil, non-kosher fat. It does not forbid the piece of meat next to it. Even if they were grilled and barbecued together and touching each other. So what would you have to do? Just eat it on itself? You'd wash it off. You'd wash off the point of contact. That's all you have to do. Wash off the point of contact. But the flavor that piece A absorbed is not transferring to piece B just because they're touching each other and grilling at the same time. Are we clear on this? You following or no? Let's make it clear. When two pieces of meat are grilling next to each other and touching, they do transfer flavor. But they only transfer their own flavor. They don't transfer flavor they absorbed. So their own flavor they would transfer, which means if piece A is not kosher and piece B is kosher, they're touching each other. Piece A is going to transfer the non-kosher flavor to piece B because piece A is non-kosher. But if piece A is kosher, it only absorbed non-kosher, then again, it can only transfer its own flavor to the next piece. It cannot transfer a flavor to absorb to the next piece. So Hanan doesn't apply to this. That's correct. With the except for the Shulchan Aruch, which says that Basar B'chalav it does apply. Yeah, what do you say?
Is there a piece C? Is there a third piece of meat?
No. Not yet. We'll talk about that in a minute. But in the Shulchan Aruch scenario, no, piece A and B.
Okay, so it's like 50, does it?
It does because why is piece A kosher, not kosher?
So then on kosher flavor.
From somewhere else.
From the non-kosher meat.
No,
Piece
from-
A and B are both kosher.
Yeah.
It absorbed non-kosher flavor because fatty non-kosher fat was poured on it elsewhere. Now they're grilling together.
Okay.
So piece A can transfer its own flavor to piece B, but it's not going to transfer flavor it absorbed to piece B. And because it absorbed non-kosher flavor, it's not going to transfer that flavor to piece B. Clear?
No, side by side.
No, but
Up
for
would be
Basar
completely-
B'chalav,
completely straight.
But for Basar B'chalav,
Okay,
because
okay.
the meat, according to Shulchan Aruch now, let's put Basar B'chalav aside for a second. We'll get back to the second. I want to discuss all the opinions. Yeah. Okay, top of the okay, no, turn page. The Medvar Mamorim, all of this is true. That's only if the meat, the flavor that it absorbed, was not of a fatty kind. So scratch my example of fatty oil, because that would be bubbly. That's
Right.
liquidy. It absorbed flavor because let's say it was grilled in a non-kosher pan. That's what absorbed flavor.
It's fat.
well, it's not clear
it would be
that
considered-
oil wouldn't be.
So fatty is not always necessarily fat. Non-kosher chaylev is not always fatty. You already had this before. We had this by the Gid Nasha where he said that if it's a lean piece of meat and the fat, then the Gid Nasha itself is lean, right? So not always is non-kosher chaylev fatty. So non-kosher fat isn't necessarily liquidy. But if it is liquidy, a much more simple example is like this. Scenario A is where the piece of meat absorbed non-kosher oil, let's just say. I don't know why would kosher, will not be kosher. Oil made out of non-kosher fat. That's what it absorbed. Huh? Yain nesach, maybe. Let's just hit yain nesach, let's say, absorb yain nesach, yeah? Or then it's not going to transfer to the next piece. Well, yain nesach might be is liquidy.
Well,
Okay, so look, in that case,
I don't
because
know about
yain nesach is
liquidy
liquidy,
because
it's bubble. Sorry?
liquidy, I'm not sure is like really. It could be lean because I read early in the
You're right.
list
Lean,
that milk is lean.
lean, yes, that's right. It's fatty duff. It's fatty duff, which creates like bubble steam that would act. So it absorbed oil. Piece A absorbed oil rendered from non-kosher fat. So
Yeah.
it's fatty oil absorbed in piece A that will transfer to piece B. But if piece A absorbed non-kosher flavor because it was earlier fried in a non-kosher pan,
And you just realize then.
So it's not fatty. And now it's being grilled again next to a kosher piece of meat, then it won't transfer. Because it absorbed flavor, yes, but that flavor is not there enough to transfer to the next.
Really,
Yeah, that's the din here.
if you cook a piece on a tray pan
Yes,
that has been used in 24 hours,
yes.
then it will not absorb enough of the.
It absorbs, but not to the point that it would transfer to another piece.
Interesting.
Okay? That's the din here, right?
Mhm.
Unless it's fatty. Unless the thing it absorbed is fatty.
So you could say that it doesn't even trafe up the pan.
No, it does for sure.
The grill that it's on?
It's for
Yeah.
sure trafing it up.
No, that it would trafe the grill that it's on. Would it
Yeah.
trafe the grill that it's on?
What
Hold on a second.
What about the other piece?
Hold on a second. Does
Yeah,
it grill?
you can't-
Does it grill
You
the?
can't transfer this.
It, 1 second. Will it go? No. What? Yeah, we'll learn from the Shulchan Aruch. It does transfer to the Ramah will say it transfers to the to the keli. Yes, but not to the other piece of meat. Okay,
So
so
the other
let's.
piece, so the grill is technically trade, but the other piece of meat is not trade. But if you would put another piece of meat on the grill after it would be trade.
Say it again.
I said because you have this piece of meat that was cooked on a tray pan.
Yeah.
Put it on your
1 second. 1
barbecue.
second.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's on your barbecue.
Yeah.
It makes your barbecue trade.
Make your barbecue trafe.
So you just said yes, but that would make me.
1 second. Let's say yes. Then what?
Then your piece you're grilling on the barbecue at the same time
It's
is not going to be tray.
Correct.
But if you put a new piece of meat on that grill, it's going to be tray.
No, it wouldn't. You're
So
right.
you're saying your
So
grill's
1
trafe.
second. So 1 second. So 1 second. So why would you go be trafe? So you're right. Why would they go be trafe?
So
So you're right. Why would they go be trafe?
yeah,
it's
so I'm
fine.
asking why would they?
No,
go
no,
with
you're right.
trafe?
So you're right. Why would they go with trafe? You're right.
It's not ideal. You should definitely clean your
The
grill.
the din of the Ramah is the other way around. It's backwards from the grill into the piece of meat. But you're right. Yeah. 1 second. Okay. So let's go. Let's go through all these situations.
Okay.
Let's go through all these situations here
Yeah.
that are
The unlikely situations.
Yeah.
To go.
Sorry.
What about this case? So if one of them's fatty and one of them's lean, what's the case? If the two
Oh,
are
good
fatty?
question.
Then you have a fatty
So
one.
1 second. Look at the language of the Shulchan Aruch. Medvar Mamorim. What's the next word? Next, the Medvar Mamorim. When is it true that we say that flavor absorbed will not be transferred to the next piece of meat? When it absorbs something that itself isn't bubbly and fatty, so it absorbs via cooking in a pan
Mhm.
without liquid. We'll get to that in a second. But if it absorbs something that itself is fatty and creates this juice, going shuman, for example, it absorbed non-kosher oil rendered from non-kosher fat. It makes the other one forbidden. Whether it's grilled together, whether they touch each other, heat next to heat, hot and hot, or when the bottom is hot, and the top one is cold. Because the fatty, non-kosher absorbent flavor will go from one piece to the other. You have the answer to your question?
I'll read it. I don't know.
No? What was the question?
Yeah, if one's fatty, one's not.
So let's make like this. You have a fatty piece of meat, kosher.
Yeah.
Seared in a non-kosher pan. So it didn't absorb any non-kosher fat, but it itself is fatty. And now it's being grilled next to a kosher piece of meat. Did it transfer the flavor?
We said no.
Even though the meat itself is fatty,
Right.
it's only if the forbidden that absorbed was fatty.
Right.
Then it'll go to the next piece, but not if it itself. Right. So in other case where kosher piece of meat, non-kosher meat, where the non-kosher meat itself was grilling, and it was lean, but the kosher piece of meat next to it is fatty. The fatty of the kosher will render the non-kosher lean meat fatty and take flavor in.
Yes.
But not in this case.
Right.
Because in this case, where the piece of meat themselves are not
Are
kosher, it's absorbent of non-kosher flavor.
Right.
It's the absorbent non-kosher flavor that must be fatty if it wants to go from one to the next.
Right.
So whether or not the pieces of meat happen to be fatty or lean is irrelevant.
Even if that piece of meat though absorbed
Yep.
flavor that was fatty, but then it wasn't transferred flavor that was
All you
fatty.
have to do is rinse it off. Sorry?
Exactly. So I'm trying to say is that you have this piece of meat that it absorbed fatty flavors. As long as you're not taking the fat to the other piece, you're just taking
Right.
the piece. It's not going to transfer.
Correct.
Can you say all this for the pan?
Sorry?
Can you say all this for the pan?
Your pan is shot.
What do you mean?
If the pan absorbed the fatty flavors of the tray from before,
and now it goes,
And it's Benjamin, and then.
will go
That's
into,
the same thing we're
okay,
saying.
that's gonna come to that, that's gonna come to
No,
Ramon in a
it
second.
transfers to the
That
piece
will
of
come to
meat, but
Ramon
the
in a
piece of
second.
meat's not gonna transfer to the next.
That will
piece of
come, that will come to Ramon in a second. That will come to Ramon in a second. We'll get there in a second. Okay, so now let's go through some of the situations here. Before we get to Ramon. So, okay, we covered that. Right, okay. So in this case as well, both pieces of meat have to be hot for that transfer to happen, or the bottom one hot, not if the bottom one's cold. Okay, additionally, even though, that's what I was saying before, even though we treat no distinction between lean and fat, when it comes to absorbent flavor, we don't say that. And as long as you know it was lean when it was absorbed, it's fine. So the kosher piece of meat absorbed flavor from the pan, that's definitely lean. We're not going to treat it as fatty. Or the kosher piece of meat absorbed flavor. Okay, so he gives us 3 examples here. So
Yes.
3 examples. Ready?
How's it talking about?
What?
The Taz?
No.
Oh, that one.
3 examples, right? Suckerman Shivas. Example 1, you have vegetables that were cooked with non-kosher fish. Vegetables, kosher, non-kosher fish. Now, the vegetable, while it's still hot, touches a kosher food.
Mhm.
Yeah?
Nothing.
The
So-
vegetable.
Fish is
Now,
fatty.
fish is, let's imagine it's not fatty.
Yeah, fish would be lean.
Fish is lean. Yeah,
fish is
fish is
lean.
considered lean.
Fish is
So the vegetable itself
Is
absorbed the
the-
non-kosher. The vegetable itself cannot be eaten because it
Right.
absorbed flavor from the fish.
Fish.
But then, even though it's hot and it touches now a hot piece of kosher food, it's not going to transfer the flavor of non-kosher fish to the
What if
food.
it's super liquidy? Because some vegetables could be super liquidy.
Super liquid. No, I think it has to be no, because the non-kosher stuff has to be fatty. Not the like. Even if the vegetable itself is oily, it has to be the non-kosher
I
flavor that's
understand.
fatty.
So if I cook a trafe piece of fish in kosher oil, and then I use that same oil to cook something else, it wouldn't transfer because it's
No.
absorbing the trafe up from
That
from-
itself. Okay, we'll get to that in a second.
That's a good.
Oh, it's a good question. Let's get to that in a second. Let's get to that. Let's get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay, that's
Very
where,
good
that's where I'm
example.
going.
Okay. Question. Example 2.
Okay.
You have same thing. You have, but now it's milk and meat. You have vegetable that was cooked in a chicken soup,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And you could see by your eye that it's a lean piece of chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And now the vegetable touched a hot pariv Danish
Mhm.
or slice of bread. Is that bread fleshik?
Yeah, I would say it's fleshik.
So say it again. Your
Lean.
chicken is lean,
Yeah, I understand.
so the
But it's in the soup.
so what? But the flesh is lean. So, so it itself is the vegetable itself is not meat. It absorbed meat flavor,
Yeah.
and the flavor it absorbed was lean flavor.
Mhm.
And now it touched a dry cookie.
Why would it make it?
So it's not going to make it. It's not going to make it
was in the-
meat.
But they were both hot?
It doesn't matter.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
vegetable
because
does not
the
make it-
meat flavor was not fatty. It was
The
lean.
vegetable, because
it
the
does-
meat flavor was lean, the vegetable does not make it.
Correct.
That's I mean
Correct.
That's why I like when you can't say
Correct.
anything's lean or fatty because that's ridiculous.
Correct.
That's like ridiculous.
It's as long as you can see that the chicken is lean.
How do you know that
It's-
it's what?
what?
There's a list
What?
of what's.
Yeah. You don't know.
Look at it.
The
It's lean.
chicken has nothing to do with it. It's the meat
Most chicken is
flavor that's
lean.
inside.
It's the flavor. It's lean flavor.
It's the meat flavor that's
Right.
like if the chicken is fatty, it wouldn't matter as long as the
Correct.
meat.
Sorry. You can't make the. Wait,
This is good.
not following or no?
No.
Huh?
We're making fun of someone.
Okay. Example 3. Example 3. Ready?
Okay.
Example 3. You have an egg that was fried in. Okay, this is an example for the other way, but let's follow what would it didn't be. Eggs is fried in butter,
Okay.
and now while the egg is still fatty, it touched bread. Is the bread milchik?
You said is butter. Is
I
butter
gave it away. Butter is fatty.
It's fatty,
So the egg is
yeah.
fried in butter. It's fatty,
Yeah.
and then you put the egg onto
Bread.
bread. Is the
It's milchik.
bread milchik? It's
Yeah.
milchik because it's fatty flavor that was absorbed
Into the bread.
into the
What
bread.
if it was cold? If the bread is not.
The bread is
If it's
cold.
cold, you might have to scrape off. You may have to. No, here if it's both hot, it has to be
Yeah.
both hot.
For one,
No, if the bread is cold.
No, the bread is cold.
Well, if the bread is cold and it's in the bottom, right, then
it's
what's
still
that
gonna burn.
halacha?
No.
I don't know.
The bottom overpowers,
The top.
and you only have to do a peel. The peel off the top of the bread.
That's it.
The bottom is if the bread is cold, right? It's contained in
But
tila.
it absorbs. It's like it's liquid. It's like absorbing the liquid.
Only to the point of the tila.
It's gonna go through the whole thing.
Why will it?
You've ever put something liquidy on bread? It absorbs.
No,
the
that
whole
can't.
thing
The
right
egg's
away.
dried. Why is it liquidy?
Oh,
It's
the
liquid.
egg is dry. The egg is
You're
wet.
it's an Israeli who wrote this, so it's dried out egg.
You're right. If it's dried out egg, you have no issue. I agree with you. If it's
No,
dried
but
out
even
egg-
so, the non-kosher flavor or the milky flavor, because it was absorbed by the egg, it's not the actual egg. It's only
Do you have
transferring.
an egg dripping with oil or dripping with butter. And you
No,
put it
now
on
you have
toast?
pieces of butter. Now you look. Now, no, 1 second. Now you're putting hot butter directly onto the toast.
Yes.
Here you're not putting hot butter on the toast. You're putting the egg onto the toast.
That's fine. A dry egg.
Oh,
you let,
that's right.
let the egg dry and then you put it on the toast. I
Even
agree,
though they're
you're
hot.
fine. You're fine.
Yeah, but if you have actual butter, then you have actual butter. That's something else.
You just said
Okay.
you cook the egg, then you put it on
This
the
is an
toast.
example. So now, sorry.
Egg. Dripping egg. Dripping
No.
Say again.
regular egg.
Yeah, it depends.
Depends how much you fried it in, and depends how deep you fried
He
it.
said
And how,
fried. He didn't say cook. You
Yeah.
cook an
The
egg.
example,
it's
it's
fine.
fried- it's fried, yeah.
You fry an egg is liquid. You
but,
fry an
but,
egg
but
is
either way, if they're
liquid.
both hot, then
You
definitely
shouldn't. You didn't
transfers.
have the funny set
Right?
up eggs that they used to fry you up. It
No,
was
that's only
dripping.
Morristown. that
It was
has that.
dripping.
That's
It was
only
like
Morristown.
water.
One second. No. Here, the egg, the liquid is fatty,
Yeah,
and therefore, even if
it touches, it should transfer. Technically, according to what you said.
Yeah, so the bottom is cold.
It should still transfer because you said it's fatty.
No, it would only. But if the top is no, it only transfers klipa because it's not so
Okay,
governed,
fine.
right? Okay.
Okay.
Let's now get to the-
I haven't gone over the soup thing. I still can't get over the soup thing.
I don't think you understood the whole
Helene, I know,
scenario.
I understand.
No,
No,
wait.
the scenario, like
This the water is not itself
Flavor.
the source of the flesh
Right.
of the fleishic element.
Right.
It's the absorbent of the flavor from the chicken that turns it fleishic, which is the same flavor that the vegetable is absorbing. It's flavor. It's not actual chicken.
You're saying it's flavor.
And is this flavor fatty?
Okay, so the
No,
fatty
it's
flavor is
not.
good- So the fatty flavor is going to permeate a lot more than the lean flavor. 'Cause it's got
Correct. And the fatty flavor will
Okay,
perforate from
fine.
from the vegetable to the cookie. But the
Right.
non-fatty, but the
No, we said
non-fatty
you cannot-
flavor,
You cannot transfer a flavor that's not your own.
if it's lean flavor, not if it's fatty flavor, it will transfer.
Right.
If
That
it's
makes
not
sense.
his own.
Even if it's not
Okay,
his own,
fine.
if it's fatty, it will
Fine,
transfer.
it makes sense.
Which is why the butter did
Yeah, I
transfer.
understand. It makes sense.
Okay.
Now
Now let's get to the
we're
bus
all
of
good.
situation.
Except, can you actually make a difference between fatty and non-fatty chicken?
In this case, yes, you can.
Can you tell if you
Most
actually
chicken is
tell-
lean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some
Maybe dark chicken is fattier.
Dark chicken's very fatty.
It's not fatty. It's more liquidy. It's not much fatty. IGA steaks are also lean for the most part.
mhm.
I see what you're saying.
Okay, let's go forward.
Okay.
When you say fatty meat.
With
Fat.
fat.
Not meat.
You're talking about white
Fatty
fat.
meat,
White
yes.
fat.
Remember, we had before by the case of the Gid Hanosha, where he said that if the cow at large is lean, so is the fat of the Gid Hanosha lean. That's what he said. Remember that?
That's what he said.
The Shulchan Aruch said that, yes.
Chicken.
Right, which is why it
I don't
doesn't
remember
transfer to
that.
the whole chicken, which is why it doesn't transfer to the whole piece of meat. Right, which is why you can eat until you're only left with a little bit of stream, right?
I feel like there's such headers you can
Right.
there's such leniencies you can give to this.
Only
But
Yeah, but
Maybe.
so in the case over there, we'll say that we don't know the difference between lean and meat. In that case,
Right.
there we'll apply that that we don't know the difference between lean and fat because it's the actual prohibited item.
Right.
But here's not the actual prohibited item; it's the prohibited flavor. And
Right.
there, the Rama says we will make a difference between lean and fat.
Okay.
Okay,
So going forward, that's how we should operate.
if it absorbed flavor, would you make a difference between lean and fat? It didn't absorb flavor. It itself is forbidden, and we don't make a difference between lean and fat. Yeah. Okay. Clear.
Yeah, clear. It's clear.
Okay, now let's get to the Basar B'chol question, yes? So we alluded to this, Machlekes. The Shulchan Aruch says that if meat absorbed milk, if meat absorbed milk and it doesn't have 60 to the ratio to nullify that milk, then the entire piece itself is considered an original source of prohibited. Chanan, chatir chanas neved, the piece of meat becomes itself a non-kosher piece of meat.
Right.
And even though the milk flavor may not transfer from the meat to the next piece, the meat flavor itself is enough to render the next piece of meat non-kosher. Yes, of course, the Taz disagrees, and his point is that the meat cannot make something else non-kosher in such a location where the flavor of the milk won't go with it. That's the Taz's position. If the milk can't go out, then the fact that the meat flavor goes out means it's going out without the milk. And if it's going out without milk, it doesn't make the next piece of meat non-kosher. That's the Taz's position. But again, the Shach sustains the Shulchan Aruch's position that the meat itself is rendered not kosher. So even if the milk flavor doesn't go out, the meat flavor itself is not kosher, considering that it's been mixed with milk. Because the whole entire piece became non-kosher. Yeah, correct. That's the machlekes, right? Yes, that's machlekes. What's the halacha? The halacha is we follow the Shach that it is, and the Shulchan Aruch that it does transfer. Well, not that it transfers, but that the flavor of the meat itself is non-kosher. And therefore, even though the milk doesn't go out to the next piece, the fact that the meat flavor goes out is enough to render the next piece not kosher. Yes?
Yeah.
Except for when the milk and meat is only rabbinic. Like chicken and milk.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay,
If it's rabbinic, then we're going to go lenient like the Taz,
okay.
right? So now let's think of this. If you have a parav item, yep,
Mhm.
that absorbed milk and meat, is it rabbinically prohibited or biblically prohibited?
Part of item that absorbed. No,
Mm-hmm.
how did it absorb?
Oh, how did it absorb? Tai Joyce, explain. Why is that a difference? Explain. What's the biblical way? What's the only biblical way milk and meat becomes milk and meat? Huh?
Cooking.
Cooked through liquid. But if absorbed in some other way? No. So let's imagine this case. Ready? You have a piece of chicken
Mhm.
which became absorbed with milk, and then it touched a vegetable. The vegetable kosher or not kosher? Piece of chicken, absorbed milk, and then touched a vegetable.
It's kosher.
Kosher? Because it's rabbinic
Yeah.
milk and meat, and it won't even if it transfers the flavor of the chicken, it won't flavor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, okay, we look at Salom, but there was another case here.
I can see how these exams could be hard.
Think through each case in each scenario.
You're gonna have to process.
Yeah. So if a piece of part of something absorb both milk and meat, can it make the next thing non-kosher by touching? Can it or not?
Repeat. Sorry, repeat.
A piece of parav that
Yeah.
absorbed milk and meat, can it make the next thing not kosher?
Parv absorbed milk and meat.
And then it touches something else parav.
What type of parv is it?
I'm guessing
What
no.
type of milk and meat? Oh, is it fatty or not fatty? Because doesn't see that chat.
Does it matter?
It's chicken.
No, not chicken.
No,
Just
Touch.
part.
Piece of it. Yeah.
it's trade fuck.
It itself is not kosher because it
Yeah.
absorbed milk and meat.
I understand, but if it's
Can
touching
it transfer to the next thing?
it depends on what it absorbs. We
I
just said
feel
if it
like-
absorbs through fatty stuff, it can
Say again?
transfer. We said if it absorbs through fatty, it can transfer. If it absorbs through lean, it can transfer. It doesn't matter, not matter because it's trade fuck. I'm asking.
The only biblical way milk and meat become not kosher is how?
Cooking.
Like cooking in liquid.
Liquid.
Did this absorbent cooking
No.
that contained both milk and meat in it, did it become prohibited biblically?
No.
No, because it didn't go through a cooking process. So can it then transfer that flavor to a vegetable?
No.
Also not. It's rabbinic. Cool, no? Okay.
Interesting. You have to be cooking both of them. You're saying
What?
You're saying if they're both, but if they're both cold and they touch something, then there would be no transfer on that original part.
If what? If what?
They're both cold and they touch something.
Yeah,
there's
then
gonna be no
coldness not the
transfer.
issue to begin with. Yeah.
Exactly. So it has to be hot. They both have to be hot.
Assuming that everything's hot. Yeah. These are everything's hot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying if both things are hot, wouldn't it transfer thing? Does it become real?
Say it again.
I'm saying you're cooking. If both things are hot, it could be considered cooking. Couldn't it?
No, cooking is derech bishul. Cooking and halacha is only when there's liquid between them. Right. That's the only biblical davar sebachalav. The only biblical davar sebachalav is when they're both cooking together. No,
Okay.
okay.
Fine. I understand.
Now, let's go for a few more. Oh, you have a lot.
It's not a lot.
Let's keep moving. Okay. No, I know, but here I have
You have a
a
lot
lot to
there.
share.
Okay.
Okay.
Say here, there's not a lot. Yeah.
No. So we'll get to finish this. What?
Where are we going?
No, I'm going to continue over here in my book here. Okay, so you have now the different types of absorbent and whether that constitutes the ability to transfer to the next flavor if the thing is fat. Let's see. You have forbidden thing, which is non-fatty, lean. Yeah, which touched something kosher.
Mhm.
And that piece touched something else. Yeah. Again, is er kosher شنو قبل خطيخة أسا هذا. Right. So yeah, so let's do that. So if a piece of meat that's lean that absorbed flavor, and we treat the whole thing as forbidden because we don't know whether or not something is considered lean or not, even though the original was lean, but we treat the whole piece of meat as if it's non-kosher because you know the difference between lean and meat. We're not between.
Fatty and
Okay,
lean.
so you have lean prohibited that went into a piece of meat. We treat that lean prohibited as if it's fatty and turn that whole piece into non-kosher. Are we then going to say that this is considered fatty to therefore transfer to the next thing?
No,
That's what
That's
you're
definitely
saying.
not.
no.
Even though in the
Oh,
first level of
first
absorbent,
you
we
do.
treat it as if it's
Fatty.
fatty because we don't do between lean and fatty.
Yeah.
So lean kosher, lean, we had this case before, right? The pan, which is lean, gave in flavor to
Yeah.
some piece of meat, even though we're going to take that whole entire piece of meat and say it's not kosher, even though
It
it's
could be.
lean, because it could be
You could
fatty.
just- you could just
But we're not
skip
going
the
to
bottom.
treat that fatty that's so fatty it's going to go to the next thing. Okay.
Because
Now-
technically you could
now
treat it
here's
as
a-
lean
here's a
and cut-
press-
technically you could treat it as lean and cut off the bottom and curve the teeth.
Correct.
We don't do that. We just say the
Correct.
whole thing straight.
Exactly. But we're not going to say that it's so fatty that it's going to the next piece.
Right.
So now here's a case. This is the wild case that I wanted to share with you. I was waiting for this. You have
The arrow.
berekas. It's my arrow there. That's right. You have berekas, right? And it's filled with lean meat,
Okay. Yeah.
lean slices of meat,
Yeah.
baked in an oven with vegetables and touch the vegetables.
Okay.
Are those vegetables fleshik?
They touched in the oven.
Yes.
It touched the
Again,
braca. It touched the braca.
The berekas are completely sealed from all
Sealed.
sides. It's a knish
No.
with meat on the inside, not fatty meat. It's lean.
No.
And now, so
No.
the meat, the bereka itself
It's fleshik.
is fleshik, but it absorbed
Lean.
lean flavor.
So it's not going to transfer.
So even though it will become fleshik entirely because you know the
Yeah.
difference between lean and fatty,
Right.
but it's not going to then say it's fatty enough to transfer outside of itself to the vegetable next to touching. Very good. So it's a wild case.
Maybe
Hey.
maybe you're gonna say because it's still heter, you'd be strict.
Oh, 1 second. Now let's add even more. Say that again.
Since the issue over there is that it is for heter, right? Here it's kind of like almost like a, I don't know, it's like a almost a parallel for like a davar shish. Like you can eat it with meat, there's no problem. Like it's still kosher. So since it's still kosher, you come around and consider it like meat.
Because the vegetables, no, we don't do
Because-
that.
because-
We don't do that. The vegetables are not part of. Even though it touched the berekas, which the berekas is touching the meat, and the meat is lean,
Yeah.
so it's not going to transfer the flavor over to the third party.
If the meat is oozing
But here
out
now,
of the
get this
braca,
case. Sorry,
If the meat was oozing out of the braca,
if what?
the meat was oozing out of the braca.
Then it's fatty for sure. But if
Then-
it's not fatty, it's lean. Okay, now let's get even more. Instead, you're with me? Yeah, it's with me.
Yeah.
It's not a vegetable. It's a
Mhm.
piece of dried cheese.
Oh, that's.
So you have meat wrapped in a bereka, totally tight. It's not fatty, and then it touched in the oven a piece of cheese.
technically.
What's kosher? What's treif?
technically?
Let's
it's-
you have 3 items. You have meat, you have bereka, you have cheese.
The cheese is good, the record's bad.
The cheese is good.
The braca's
Why
bad.
shouldn't it? It didn't absorb any meat from the flavor.
No,
The
but it
ber-
absorbs
the-
cheese.
the-
It absorbed
The
cheese.
flesh is good.
the flesh is good also.
Right. The
Only the
braca's bad.
bureka.
Only the bereka in the middle is no good.
Touch to it. Touch
Because
to
it
it.
absorbed both cheese and milk.
How would you, in practicality?
In practicality, how you would do that? You'd cut it open and
No,
scoop out the meat,
You
maybe.
don't need any of
It was
Right?
everything in the garbage.
Amazing.
But how
No,
cool
in
is that?
practicality, what happens is that the cheese becomes flavor.
What?
For instance, the kids who anyways peel it.
Right?
Cheese becomes.
So here's an
in
example.
practicality,
Here's an example of where the cookie
flesh.
absorbed both milk and meat, but it's not going to transfer that milk and meat flavor to something else. So the bereka itself absorb milk and meat,
Right.
milk from one side, meat from the other side,
Cheese
but it won't transfer
To
to
the
each
either.
other because nothing is fatty here. How cool is that? All right.
So technically, you can cut the other corner of the braca, take out all the meat, and eat it.
In theory,
In theory.
yeah,
We're just like not going to do that because we're paranoid.
because we're paranoid.
right?
Yeah.
I think that's what you would tell someone. Would you, if this happened to somebody, would you tell them you cut off the corner?
But
of the
if you
bread?
now get this, if you have
You have
Berekas,
the knife,
you have lean
Oh,
Berekas.
you cut it,
Sorry,
yeah.
you have Berekas
It's
is
true.
lean meat. What's it?
Because I was saying,
Yeah.
I was saying, why don't you cut off the corner of the brekka that didn't touch the area,
Yeah.
and take out the thing. And he's like, be careful what you cut it with. That brekka is now trade. So if you cut it with a
Well, that's
knife,
true, that's
a
also
hot
problem.
knife, your knife.
That's also problem.
Push in.
That's problem. It's like that's probably
Yeah,
ripped open. Yes, it's a very good point.
the whole
Very
thing's
good point.
garbage,
Very
okay.
very good point.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's see weiter.
Mhm.
What do I want to show here? Okay, a piece. Okay, we'll put that.
Double there.
Okay, so now. Okay, now to your question about the liquid here. A piece that absorbed. If okay, so now let's look at this. If when we say that absorbent flavor doesn't transfer from one to the next, is that by absorbent flavor, or also by absorbent where it absorbs liquid? So instead of absorbing the flavor of milk, it absorbed milk itself, liquid. Do we also say that that's considered absorbed and it doesn't transfer unless there's
Wait,
liquid?
what was the scenario?
The Chazzarah said, well, the original din is that absorbent flavor doesn't transfer to the next thing unless there's liquid between. What if it's not flavor that absorbed, but it absorbed liquid?
So it absorbed milk.
Absorbed milk. It's not flavor of milk.
The milk sounds like a basketball powder. You're gonna say.
Sorry?
Basketball powder is gonna.
1 second. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's just say,
Like it's right up like what?
yes, it absorbed. That's right. Not that it absorbed from a pot. Not that it absorbed flavor, but it absorbed actual liquidy non-kosher. So here's an example. Right, you have bread that was mixed, kneaded together with milk. Right? It was kneaded with milk. So it's now the bread doesn't just have flavor of milk. It has actual milk in it. It's not fatty, it's not liquidy, and now it touches some other piece. Is the next piece becoming milkit now? They're both hot. So you're baking two loaves of bread. One loaf of bread you kneaded with milk, and the other without. They bake in the oven.
It wouldn't transfer.
With the flavor, well, they touch. And bake in the oven would be different because now it's because of the steam, but the milk is not dried out yet. But they touched afterwards while they're hot. Will they transfer or not?
No.
It's a machlokes. It's a dispute whether or not this principle that the flavor doesn't transfer by absorbent is if it's only absorbent flavor, but if it absorbs actual milk, then it does transfer. It's a machlokes.
Really?
That's something that's interesting to keep in mind.
Oh, because you're saying it was cooked with the milk.
Yeah, there's milk in the actual
In the
mixture,
actual mixture.
and not just flavor of
It's not
milk.
like-
That
it's not like that
not
poured
just
milk.
flavor absorb. It's not just milk absorbing flavor, but actual milk in it.
Hey,
Okay.
Can you repeat your what you said?
About what?
The whole case.
So we just said that flavor does not transfer from absorbent.
Right.
Flavor doesn't transfer from one thing to that liquid.
Okay.
Is that flavor only, or even if you have actual
Yeah.
liquid? So
Okay.
you have a case where you baked you baked bread, and part of you kneaded the dough with milk.
Okay.
Now it's baked, it's dried out, it's not lean.
Yeah.
But it's not just the flavor of milk that's in the
actual.
bread. It's actual milk. Does it then transfer to something else by touching,
Mhm.
or does it require liquid also?
Okay.
to
So
dispute?
over here it says like what is absorbed does not exit it without juice.
Oh, so is that absorbed in flavor
I don't
or
know.
absorbed anything? Period.
That's a good question.
That's
but
the machlokes.
This case talks about milk itself.
Or flavor of
In this
milk.
paragraph, it talks about milk. It seems to be milk itself.
Yeah. It should be the flavor of milk.
It should be the flavor.
Yes, but that's a machlokes. Okay. Finally, last piece of information. Tov. No worries. Good night. Okay. Sorry. No worries. Now let's look at the Ramah, the last line that Ramah, and then we'll go back to our dinim over here. The last line that Ramah, yes, in the Shulchan Aruch. The chol zev beis chatiches. All of the above is with two pieces of meat. Where then there is a question of if the flavor is fatty, then we'll transfer to the next piece. If it's not fatty, it won't transfer to the next piece. But if a utensil, a vessel, absorbed non-kosher, oyster heter, it transfers that flavor to that which is kosher. I feel even if the absorbent flavor wasn't fatty, right? So you baked a milk it, you baked non-kosher, let's make non-kosher. You baked non-kosher pastries in a pan, it's non-fatty, and use that pan to cook kosher stuff, it's going to transfer, even though it's not fatty. Sorry, you're waiting for the timer and turn the light back on.
Yeah.
Because even if,
Mhm.
even if when it comes to food, flavor won't transfer from one thing to the next unless the flavor was fatty. When it comes to a vessel, it does exfoliate flavor, even if it isn't fatty. That's the Ramaz din. Yes, so then let's see some practical things. Right? Of course, all of this is only if you're doing grilling where there's no liquid. Once you're cooking with liquid, it doesn't make a difference if it's food
Lean
or fat or lean or all that doesn't make a difference
Yeah.
because you're cooking in big liquid, right? That's the whole thing. Okay, so now
That's what I thought. That's why I was going. That's why I thought the
Say
soup
again?
was great. That's why I thought the soup. I understand. Like
So let's say, yeah. So let's say you have a piece of meat that touched a milchik pan. Yeah?
Yeah.
If they're both hot,
Mhm.
then
transfer.
and transfer flavors, no good.
Mhm.
Yeah?
Obviously,
if
the
the-
pot's
if-
used within 24
sorry?
hours. Obviously, the pot's been
You
used.
use 24 hours, yeah. Now, if the food is not itself not kosher, right? Or let's say itself is not kosher, but only absorbed non-kosher, or let's say a part of food that absorbed flavor from milk from meat. So and then you take that, let's say that piece of bread that absorbed. Okay, well, he's gonna give the example of the barekas again. So you have barekas filled with lean meat, and you baked it in a pan that had previously been used for milchik.
The breakfast are true. The bread is tray. The meat is fine.
The meat is fine. What about the pan itself?
Pan's fine.
Pan is also fine.
Yeah.
You follow
As
that?
long as nothing opens.
As long as the meat wasn't fatty.
As long as the meat didn't open.
As long as the meat wasn't fatty, because the absorbent flavor. Why is that?
Liquid. You need liquid.
Because the meat will not give off flavor into the
Right.
pan unless it's fatty.
Right.
But the pan will give off flavor even if it isn't fatty,
Unless the brekka open and the meat.
right?
The meat's
Because this is the question of absorbing flavor into the pan.
I understand.
That will only happen if it's direct contact or if it's fatty,
Right.
right? But if it's not fatty, it will not give flavor into the pan. But from the pan into the food doesn't require fatty.
What if the pan wasn't used within 24 hours?
Okay, that's a different story. Everything you have to keep it.
I know. But
Assuming
I'm
it's all,
curious. What happened?
and it's a different story to begin with, and it's in Talmud Gam, right?
Fascinating.
Okay, so now again,
I'm saying you'd be a little much more lenient. I'm just curious if it'd all be if throw me out.
no, you'll be more lenient if it's a day old, yeah. Right? Okay, so that's what you said. So the flavor absorbed in the pan will go out without any liquid. It goes out faster. It's opposed to the other way.
Okay.
Okay. Now here. Now he's gives a wild case here. Ready for a wild case?
They waited 3 minutes.
If you have pizza,
Mhm.
right? And let's say giving it to let's say it's not the cheese. It's like it's like the yellow cheese. So it doesn't get like all
Cheddar, yeah.
doesn't get all liquidy. Yeah.
Okay.
And now you put it on. You baked it on you baked it on a non-kosher pan. Now there's no liquid between the bottom of the pizza, the dough, and the pan.
What? That's
So
pushing it.
what do you have to do? What is the minimum you can do with that pizza?
Take off the bottom.
Oh, think again.
Scrape off
You
the bottom.
have pizza without liquidy cheese. But liquidy cheese, something else,
You cut off the bottom.
right? And and it's being baked now on a non-kosher on a fleshik pan.
You cut off the bottom. I just think
So there's no fat anywhere, not in the cheese,
Mhm.
not in the pan.
No, I agree.
But
Yeah.
if the cheese was liquidy and it's just on top of the pizza,
It's-
what's
No,
the
because
difference?
liquid will transfer through
Yes, through everything.
everything else,
If
right?
the
'Cause
sauce would have touched
so
the
the
pan even a little
fatty
bit,
food,
the whole thing would be
right? Fatty food will go from one food to the next, even to the
Yes.
pan. But here it's not a fatty cheese.
Fatty cheese will go through the pizza into the.
Yeah, the flavor will go
Yes,
through.
and the
But
sauce.
if not,
And the
all you
sauce
need to
is-
do is peel off the bottom of your crust that
Yeah.
touched the fleshik. And
the
you can
sauce
enjoy the
is
rest
not
of your
like
pizza.
plastic.
What about your sauce?
Is there sauce?
Depends how thick your pizza. Depends how thick your dough is. If it's pizza
Yeah.
dough, you can get away with it.
If it's
What about your?
No one got the joke. It's
what
okay.
about-
Keep going.
Yeah, no. I know. What about your sauce?
Huh?
What about your sauce?
if there's
Your
is
tomato
there
sauce.
is there
The
like
sauce itself
hard
isn't
sauce?
that's not the problematic flavor. The problematic flavor is the cheese.
No,
So it has to be fatty cheese to make
I know,
transfer.
but it's touch if the sauce.
No, because you don't
touches
say that fatty flavor
Would go
awakens
into the
non-fatty
sauce.
flavor to make the fatty flavor transfer. We don't say that. Only if the fatty flavor itself is the problem.
because you have
Right.
because listen, you have a tray pan, the facial pan,
Yeah.
and the dairy cheese, and in between it is the sauce touching both of them
No, but there's no
because the sauce spilled
No,
over
no, no, no.
and touched it and touched.
no, if it's spilled over something else. Spilled over something else. It has to be completely dry between the bottom of the pizza and the
Obviously,
pan.
your sauce is likely gonna
Right.
it's likely.
Actually, no, he's saying here that even if the actually sorry. Even if the cheese is fatty, if the cheese is fatty, then yes, so if the cheese is fatty,
Uh-huh.
then the pan on the bottom becomes treif because it was a
Okay.
meat one and it absorbed now
Yeah.
milk. But the crust is only non-kosher as far as the klipa goes, as far as the peel goes. That touched it.
Okay.
Because it only absorbed, it's dry, no fat between it and the pan.
All right.
So it only absorbs the klipa.
Okay.
Pretty wild.
So how does the cheese can
Finally,
still
yeah.
leave it?
So again,
You
The
kind of
cheese can still leave it. Okay,
Yeah, even
so
the cheese
only
transfers.
klipa stops.
that's correct.
Yeah,
So your
I
cheese-
understand.
Correct.
So
Okay.
your
I
cheese
get
you
it, I
can
get
eat.
Yes,
This is ches.
that was Zayin. Okay, let's read Ches quickly since we can finish it off. Kulya shetzala b'chelev b'chelboy. If kulya is what is a kidney, which was grilled together with its fat. The fat from the kidney is not kosher. In your second day klipa, it's only forbidden. You don't have to peel off the edge. Shakrum mafsik because the membrane serves as a barrier. Same thing as your pizza crust. Right? V'yesh oishim, others say it's forbidden. V'chei noigin, that's our custom. V'in l'shanas, and we shouldn't change the custom. V'din kishar chelesh nitzim basar, we treat it like any other non-kosher fat grilled together with meat. And the reasons are because the membrane loosens. It's explained in the was it Taz?
Still love the kidney.
No, sorry, that Taz said the Shach said that. Taz said because the Gemara is not clear on the answer at the end. Finally, v'imnis basha kachakoya nasis nevela, and therefore if you grill the kidney that way, the kidney itself becomes a non-kosher item because it absorbed the fat. It's our shishim connect neged kula, and therefore if we apply the principle of chanan, it itself becomes a chanas not nevela, it itself becomes not kosher, and if this kidney fell into something else, you'd have to have 60 times the amount of the whole kidney, not just 60 times the amount of the fat that was absorbed into it. Ruadim b'krum shal yeseres. And the same thing is true with the membrane, which I think the word there is a lobe, right? The lobe, the liver lobe,
Adrenal gland.
the gland. Okay, there we go. Sorry, not adrenal gland. The fat there too is non-kosher. The same thing applies because there's a membrane there as well. All right. Any comments, questions, clarification? We jumped around a lot, but any
So the fats absorbed in the kidney make the kidney itself
into
treif?
treif? Yes, that's we apply the principle of chanan. Chati chanas nevela. The thing itself becomes non-kosher.
I've heard like
Piece.
Chaticha piece,
Nasa
nasa
nevela.
becomes
Yeah,
nevela a non-kosher item.
I see. And why is that? Because
Clear?
it's so fat.
Somewhat.
Because it's
the
very fatty.
kidney look,
Huh?
is the blood. Also, I thought it was.
No, that's
this,
the
this is because of the
liver.
fat. This is because of non-kosher fat. It's outside of it.
But the fat is it's fatty. It makes it like all treif.
Correct.
Unavailable.
Makes the entire thing into an avail. Yes, that's what Amal writes here. Okay. Any questions, comments? Anything needs clarity? Mentally with me? Sort of. What are we missing? Just got to organize it in our heads. Okay. So review, and if there's any kashas, please feel free.
Is this maybe lechatchila or is b'diavad the same? Because
He does it. Ramah doesn't make me see to make any distinction.
yeah.
He says in l'shanos means don't change the custom.
Yeah.
It means to say stick to that. It seems to be either way. Yeah, with me, Elliot. All good.
Yeah, good. Elliot does the most Chazzarah out of everyone.
All right, good. So if you have any questions, feel free on the chat or whatever.
No, you're doing every morning.
Oh, so one second. This is the last year till after Yom Tif.
So I think we should do one more share. Yeah, review share and somewhere in the middle.
I'll have to find some time to do that. It's not gonna happen before Rosh Hashanah.
No, definitely not before.
Probably not before Yom Kippur.
I think after Yom Kippur.
In the
After
sukkah.
Yom Kippur, the programming.
After Yom Kippur and Sukkot, maybe.
Like a Thursday night.
But how much time is it between Sukkot, Simchat Torah, and Shabbos?
It's 2 days.
2 days?
Oh, no, no.
What day of the week is Simchat Torah? Simchat Torah and the next Shabbos.
Wednesday.
2 days.
Yeah. Thursday,
Thursday, Friday.
Because the next Sunday is the next year already.
Yeah, I would like to do it.
Maybe
af-
between Yom
after-
Kippur and Shabbos.
after Yom
Between Yom
Kippur.
Kippur and Sukkot. How long?
After Yom
How many days do you have to?
Yom Kippur is Wednesday night, Thursday and oh, it ends Thursday night.
Yeah, so it's like,
So it's tight.
We're all here
unless you
now.
want to do, unless you want to do this Sunday before Sukkot.
Oh, Sunday before Sukkot.
It ends Thursday night and the Shabbos, and then Sunday and Sukkot is Sunday night. Sukkot is Monday night.
Monday night.
Monday.
So that's Sunday.
Maybe.
Sunday morning.
Maybe. Yeah, he'll remind me. You have to remind me before
You
Yom
guys
Kippur.
are
So I can
recording?
prepare recording. Sorry,
Do you end the recording?
I'm recording it. No, I didn't. Oh, and yeah.
Just because, like, for like someone who wants to listen.
Yeah. it's-
Mondays are.
No, not for us.
It's okay.
I like shorter. I like the.
Sorry,
What day is Yom Kippur?
Yom Kippur is what day?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, so you can't do between Yom Kippur and Sukkot. There's a Friday and Sunday.
Yeah, that's a Sunday.
Maybe we'll do Sunday.
You won't
If,
be here.
if Yom Kippur is Monday night, I'll give you the Zoom. You'll join us on Zoom.
We're fine.
We're flying.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
It's a review.
Okay.
It's
Have
not
a wonderful day, buddy. Good, wonderful evening.
Thank you.